Unity Church of Raleigh. Let's celebrate today, this holiday season, with one of our favorite, Away in a Manger. Please stand if you can and sing along.
Beautiful. You may be seated. It was a big crash. Now, Jeff and I live on a corner-ish. We have two lots, very wooded, the corner of the southern entrance to Chapel Hill. So we are 2 hills away from the university. And because it's the southern entrance in this little 2-lane country road, it gets about 5,000 to 7,000 cars during the drive time, morning and night. And for a while there, every month there would be a big crash. And I work at home, I'm a writer, so I would be the one, 911. And it reached a point after several years of this, every month or so, when I would dial 911, they'd say, "Hey, Ms. Raskin, what happened?" I say, "Oh my gosh, there's another wreck." Because see, it's 35 miles an hour, but people are coming down the country road going 55 and 60, and they T-bone my neighbors. They're just T-boning everybody. Oh gosh, it's another crash. They go, "Okay, well, we're getting everybody out. Can you," usual, they ask me, "can you walk over and see if everything's okay?" You just have somebody on the scene. So I cut through my backyard and I cut through the woods, the wooded lot, and I step up to that little 2-lane road, and on one side off the road is a van on its side, and the mom and the 5 kids are out and they are fine. And across the street on the other side is a car with the whole front end just folded up. And there's a gentleman in there, and he seems to be fine, and there's one volunteer who's pulled off, and he's checking on people. And traffic, rubbernecking abounds. So traffic was stopped, and he said, "I've got these people," while we wait, he said, "Can you direct traffic?" So picture this. I am in my element. I'm standing in the middle of this country road, beautiful sunset on a fall day, on the double gold line. Sun is set, so pretty. Directing traffic. It's awesome. And then I get that shivery, wonderful feeling. And I look ahead, and here comes my husband, Jeff. And he's walking, he rounds the corner, and he's walking up the street towards me. And he stops at the edge of this country road as I'm directing traffic. And I smile at him, and he smiles at me. And then he points at my feet. And I look down, and there is our cat, MC. The little 5-pound fluffy fur ball at my feet in the middle of this road. And I thought, well, no wonder people are smiling and waving and going by slowly, because I'm out here directing traffic with this cat just sitting there regally watching. And I say, "MC?" MC goes, "Meow." I say, "Go with Jeff." And MC looks at Jeff, and Jeff says, "Come on, MC, stop the traffic." And MC sashays across the road in that way that we know that cats have. And I will never forget, and this is just a tender memory, the sight of Jeff and MC walking away from me in the twilight, just walking away. And it got me thinking that sometimes in life, we crash and burn, and it is bad. Something happens with our prosperity or our health or our relationships, and the road back can be long and hard, but always there is an MC in our lives. There is that energy of love and support and protection and guidance, and that energy is God. That energy is good. Now, Unity teaches us that there is no place we can be where God is not. That universal mind is all good, all the time, everywhere present, in the good times and the not so good times. All we have to do is decide whether or not we're going to step in and roll along with it. Now, Unity minister and author Eric Butterworth said something that I thought made me feel a lot better. He said, we must remember that in life there are no wrong turns and there are no bad choices. All roads ultimately lead us to our highest and best good. So we can relax. The reason is because we were made by our Creator for success. The universe actually loves us, and always God is with us and in us and for us. So it is the third week of Advent, and today is the Sunday of love. So along with the candles for hope and faith and the candle for peace, we light the pink candle for love. And this is for John 13:34. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. So, hope and faith, peace and love. Beautiful. So, good morning. I greet you in the name of Jesus Christ and in the warm and loving spirit of Unity Church of Raleigh. In Unity, we welcome all people and honor the God of your understanding. We bless all churches and spiritual groups throughout the world because we know we are all sons and daughters of the same loving Creator, so we welcome everybody. Welcome to all of you who are watching on your devices today. Thank you for being with us. Please be sure to share and like us. My name is Melanie. I'm your platform leader. Our musicians today are Greg and Nisha, Alan and Susan, and our speaker is Reverend Wally White. So now let's stand and say together our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life and affairs, God the good. Let's walk around the room and say good morning to each other.
Please remain standing as we sing the next song in our bulletins. Wait, give me a second.
all sound wonderful. So we always start our announcements with gratitude. I'm grateful for two things. First, the bus got here. Thank you very much. 27 people just walked in. I had to go out at 10:30 and usher everybody in, including today's speaker. I said, Ruth, where's Reverend Wally? She said, he walked out. I had to hunt him down and the 15 people with him. Anyway, I'm teasing. I'm glad you are all here today. Thank you. The other thing I'm grateful for is new beginnings. I would like to announce that Greg has a new granddaughter. Her name is Verilyn. She was born. This is the other son, so now there's a little cousin for Abigail. Verilyn was born, a week and a half ago? 2 weeks? Week and a half ago. He gets daily updates on the miracles, what she's been doing. So isn't it wonderful at this season that we're celebrating birth and renewal and new beginnings, that you get that fabulous gift of a baby girl? That's awesome. So today's flowers are unsponsored, and when they are unsponsored, we like to give them to a person we love in our community. And today, this beautiful Christmas centerpiece is for Susan, our pianist. Of course, we know that Susan has a fabulous voice, that she is a killer pianist, but Susan is part of our women's group, baking cookies. She supports our special events with her cooking. She is just an all-around amazing, beautiful presence, always in tune with us, for us, as us. And Susan, we just love you very much. Thank you for how much you love us, and please enjoy this Christmas centerpiece from a local farmer this season. So we welcome any guests we have with us today. Thank you for being here. And now let's invite our kids to go have a wonderful day in Sunday school. I think some of them are gone. Exciting. Tonight it is our Christmas candlelight service. This is a beautiful tradition at UCR, and we are so happy to have it. It's something that we love. It's going to be a little bit different this year, but it is going to be equally beautiful. So do join us. It's going to be a lovely evening with a great big moon. This place is going to be bathed in light, and we can already see the spectacular poinsettias that we have. This service starts at 7 o'clock. We have childcare. We will have Christmas snacks. We will have wonderful music, and we would just love to have you here. This is a time when we light our personal candles. We get that affirmation that propels us into the new year, and it's just a wonderful time of community and sanctuary, the sacred and the holy, here with your church family. So thanks for joining us. Always, we have early meditation on Sunday mornings at 9:45 with Al. Prayer chaplains Pat and Betty are available before and after the service. If you have a prayer, there's Betty, I see her. I pointed where you usually sit, and you're right there. They are happy to pray with you at any time. We have a new class starting. There's a Sunday workshop on January 12th, 12:30 to 2:30. Reverends Bill and Cher Holton are our guest speakers that day. Their topic is going to be on prosperity, and their course is YO Universal Prosperity. It will meet Sunday. That's a standalone workshop, but also the first of 5 classes. It will be 4 Wednesday nights after that Sunday, the 12th. So check out your bulletin. We do have a sign-up sheet. It's a love offering. We will have free childcare both that Sunday and on those Wednesday nights. That'll be Wednesday the 15th through Wednesday, February 5th. And we are excited about bringing back a Wednesday night class. So do sign up and join us for that. There is no chair takedown after the service. Eat the snacks. We're going to leave the chairs up so that we can come back tonight and have our Christmas candlelight service. And I think that is it for today. So why don't we prepare for the peace and refreshment of meditation with Reverend Wally White by singing the song In the Silence.
In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where every color blends and every rainbow ends. truth is there. God is there.
As we breathe into the silence, we take a moment and see a star in front of us. Bright, beautiful light that we move towards. And as we carry our gift into that light so that we are surrounded by that light, we realize that we are the gift. And as we sit in this place of peace and joy and comfort, we ask, what do I need to know today? What might I do to live my highest and best life right here, right now? We ask that knowing that the answer is already available. And we need only take this moment of silence to listen. And so we go into the silence. And as we bring our attention back into the room, whether some answer jumped out at us or whether we think we're still waiting for it, we accept the answer was given and that we are in this moment living our highest and best life. That we can rejoice in knowing that this is a good day. Yes. And we say, thanks, God.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debt as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Starting with a song. I don't need you to love me. I don't need you to love. I've got my sister. I can feel her now. She may not be here,
that she's still mine, and I know that she still loves me. Got my house, it still keeps the cold out. Got my chair when my body can't hold out. Got my hands doing good like they're supposed to, showing my heart to the ones that I'm close to. Got my eyes, though they don't see as far now, they see more about how things really are now. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna hold my head up, gonna put my shoulders back and look you straight in the eye. I'm gonna flirt with somebody when they walk by. I'm gonna sing out, sing out. I believe I have inside of me everything I need to live a bountiful life, and with all the love that lives in me, I'll stand as tall as the tallest tree. And I'm thankful for every day that I'm given, for the easy and the hard ones I'm leaving. Most of all, I'm thankful for loving who I really am. I'm beautiful. Yes, I'm beautiful. And I'm here. Yeah.
All right, I'm managing mics today. I forgot to turn that one on earlier. So, that song, when I first put this lesson together, I was putting together a lesson of some life-changing information I once got from Della Reese. But I gave this talk back in September in Greensboro, and I had gotten up and made it to Greensboro and went to my favorite place, Starbucks, and I'm now on my way to the church, 15 minutes away, and it occurs to me that I think I volunteered to sing a song at service, but I haven't prepared anything. And so I'm like, well, let's see what tracks I have in my phone. And I came across that song, and I'm like, oh, I hadn't sang that in a while. I'll do that. And it wasn't until I started singing it that I realized that the message that was in it was everything that I ultimately wanted to talk about today. That when it says that I believe that I have everything that I need to live a bountiful life, that is within me, that I can stand tall, that I won't let the pressures of life push me down, right? And that I will feel free to flirt with somebody when they walk by, because believe me, there was a time in life that I didn't feel free to do that because they won't like me, and all of those things, right? And it's all right there in that song of this person. That song is called I'm Here, and it's from the Broadway musical version of The Color Purple. And the character Celie sings that. And of course, Whoopi Goldberg played Celie in the movie version of it, right? So when I sing a song that was written for a character once played by Whoopi Goldberg, obviously I'm going to bring a different perspective to it. But within the words, there's stuff that we can all grab hold of, right? So today's lesson is called the singing lesson. And I trust me that if you don't sing, it's still for you. It ultimately became about kind of this life-changing information or this life-affirming information. But I'll start by looking at when a singer is learning a new song. There's, at the very least, two things you're looking at. You got to learn the words, and then you got to learn what the music. What's the tempo of it? Is it slow? Is it fast? You got to find your rhythm within it. And I long since stopped trying to sing what was written on the page because I can't read sheet music anyway. But I realized that I would get in my head, and this was something that will come up as I talk about Della, that when I was trying to sing it right, that I was so in my head that I wasn't really delivering. Like, I might hit the notes, but I wasn't delivering the song. I wasn't delivering the message. I wasn't giving you anything to feel. And if you can't feel it, well, it's boring, right? So when I first moved to New York City in 94, I started with a temp job at As the World Turns. And I asked the music director there if she knew anybody I could take singing lessons from, because I had always been involved both in high school and in college with theater departments that didn't get along with music departments. So I actually didn't know I could sing until a year after I graduated college, and somebody convinced me to audition for the community theater's version of Fiddler on the Roof. And so that's when they first brought up, oh, we're going to have you do Model the Tailor. I'm like, oh, I don't sing. I'm just here to be a villager, and then it rolled out, right? So I ended up being referred to this lady named Joan Coben, and if she was British, she would have surely been a dame. She just had that kind of thing about her, right? She was small in stature, but very large in personality. And she didn't play the piano. She was a singing teacher who could pluck out the notes with her right hand. But I actually once went into an audition with a song she had taught me, and the first time I ever actually heard the music was when the pianist in the audition started playing it. So the biggest thing that I got from Joan was she would say, "What's your verb?" And at first I was like, I don't understand. What are the notes? And she's like, no. Anybody can hit notes, but what are you doing? When you're singing this song, are you chastising someone? Are you flirting with someone? What are you doing? Because that's going to determine what you're delivering out in your song, right? So that was like my first lesson, and that helped me in other things as I would work on auditions as an actor. It would, it gave me this extra thing to focus on. What are you doing? And then you realize, as you're just kind of figuring out a project that you're doing in life in general, that if you're so caught up in, well, I want to do this because I hope this person feels this way about what I'm doing, and it's like, all right, well, now you're off in their head. You're worried about trying to get a particular emotion from them, that you're no longer focused on you and what it is you're able to deliver and giving the best you can possibly deliver, because now you're trying to control somebody else's thoughts. Now, many years later, I had left New York and I'd moved to Los Angeles, and I'd been singing with the choir at Della's church for a couple of years at least, probably maybe more. And one Sunday, I was singing a song that I'd never sang before. And my cousin in Mount Airy had asked me to sing at his wedding. But he and his fiancée at the time had zero suggestions of what I should sing. So I was trying to come up with some stuff, and there was this song called I Love You with the Love of the Lord that my choir had sang. And I'm like, well, that could be nice for a wedding. Let me try and sing that. So I asked the choir director, I want to sing the song that normally isn't my song to sing. So by the time I got up to sing it, I wanted to do good, right? Because I was trying to get a recording of it to share with my cousin, right? So it had to be good, this song that I'd never sang before. And when I sang at my church in Los Angeles, Della Reese was sitting in a chair right here, and my choir director was a man named Bobby Henley. He was one of Smokey Robinson's backup singers. And my assistant choir director, who is a lovely friend of mine, but she totally was judgy when you were singing, she was a backup singer as a Raylette. She was with Ray Charles for the last 7 years of his life. So when you stepped up to sing with these people around you, like, it should be good, you know. And so I'm up there trying to do this version that my cousin Jared will like, and trying to live up to the standard of these people around me, and the recording wasn't very good. I mean, I've had it on something I heard not that long ago, and I'm like, I skipped past. I'm like, yeah, that's not good. I don't want to hear that song. And when service was over, Della said, she said, I don't mean to offend you, but I'd love to work with you on your singing sometime. And I was like, offend? Like, that's a master class you're offering me, right? So it took us a few weeks to work it out, to, you know, and I go up to her house, and she lived at the very top of Bel Air. So I'm driving up Bel Air Drive, and I'm like, I wonder how this is going to work out today, because Della doesn't play the piano, and I'm sure she's not hired somebody for me for the, you know. So I get there, and they're like, she's upstairs in her office. And I go upstairs where there is no piano, no keyboard, anything. She's sitting at her desk, and I sat down in the chair on the other side of the desk, and we talked. And we talked for an hour, hour and a half. And one of the key pieces of information she said was, remember I said she's always sitting right behind us. She said, sometimes I just want to reach up and pinch you so that I know you're feeling something. She's like, if you try and sing like Kim, that was my friend Kim Yarborough that was in the choir, and she was in the second season of The Voice. And that's the first time I found out how old she was, by the way. She would never tell us how old she was, and when they were introducing her on The Voice, they were like, and 50-year-old Kim. I was like, what? Yeah. Anyway, but she's like, when you try and sing like Kim, or when you try and sing like Bobby, and you came up differently, you're not bringing you, because you're trying to be them. And she's like, I just want to know what it is you feel about it, because what you feel is ultimately what we're gonna feel, probably, right? Like, it may inspire you for a whole different feeling, but you know, you got to deliver out something. She used to tell stories of when she sang in the nightclubs, and she would be doing shows that started at 1 a.m. on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning at that point. She wasn't gonna make it to church. So when she was singing the secular songs she was singing in the bar, right, she would at that still kind of get her own spiritual thoughts going in some of her songs. She was great at taking secular songs, so you can listen to whatever radio station you want to listen to and get your spiritual inspiration. Della had this song, and I can't remember whether I've told you all this part or not. It's one of my favorite stories to tell, in that she had a brain aneurysm, and she was being wheeled into surgery, right? And she starts singing. She's like, the song, You Are So Beautiful, except she started saying, God is so wonderful to me. She ended up recording that song years later, the whole song. And so you can take it from wherever. What is important, way more important than the words, it's actually kind of a big deal for me that I just sang a song to you without lyrics in front of me, because I almost don't do it anymore. I sometimes I get caught up in the feeling of the music and will forget some words. You know, I went to Della actually one time on that, and I'm ready for my master class on that, and I sit down and I'm like, I'm starting to have a hard time remembering lyrics. Now, I'm ready for the advice, right? She's like, don't we all? She said, half the time Ella was scatting because she didn't know the words to the song. But what was important wasn't the words to that song. Ella is now known, Ella Fitzgerald, for that scatting, because she made you feel something that she was never going to deliver in the words. It was in what was coming out. So the lessons I had gotten from Singing was, what are you doing and how do you feel about it? Now, as I prepared this lesson, I knew that I couldn't share a lesson that I'd gotten from Della Reese and invoke her name while standing at a pulpit and not bring up the Bible, right? So I'm like, well, I got to see what the Bible correlation is to what I'm telling. And so I was sitting at my favorite writing place. You would think that I get like a little kickback from Starbucks. I mention them so often. But I'm sitting at Starbucks in Danville, Virginia, and I'm working on my laptop. And so I go to Google and I'm like, Bible, and first it's like choosing life or something. And then I get all these different writings that other people have done that are fine, but I'm specifically looking for Bible verses, right? So I then go back in and I'm like, Bible, choose, and then up pops from Joshua chapter 24, choose this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will choose to serve the Lord. So as you're going about your day, as you're working on whatever it is that you are working on, rather than getting caught up in, I hope people feel this way, how they feel is none of your business. If you get caught up in worrying about how they feel or how they react, well, you might as well not do it, honestly, because you're never going to get that. But if you give 100% of what is here to give out, that was one of the other lessons that I got from Della in singing, was that nowadays it seems that all of the singers sing through the same computer program, and then they all kind of sound a little bit alike. But in Della's day, when they were touring and they were all singing from the same Great American Songbook, they were a lot singing the same standards. Everybody had a song or two that was theirs, but to fill out a whole show, they were all singing these songs. And Della might come in a week after Ella's been there, right, and sing the same song, but she better not sing it like Ella sang it. Or people would shout out, how do you sing that song, right? So that became the lesson too it's like, for me, don't try and sing like Bobby's singing. You can sing the same song Bobby's singing, but how do you sing it? There is something uniquely special here that nobody else in the world can give. They may be able to give another incredible, wonderful version, but nobody can give the Wally version, and nobody can give your version. There's this special thing. If God needed us all to be exactly alike and think exactly alike and do exactly alike, we could have stuck with Adam. We didn't need everybody else if we're all supposed to do and think and say the exact same thing. We know we're all supposed to be uniquely special in some way because of these fingerprints we have, right? This is me. This is you. And you have this special thing that is in you that is ready to come out when you're willing to let it flow, to let it be. Now, as I decided to dig deeper, and so I looked at what the metaphysical meaning was to Joshua. Joshua is the one who took the people into the promised land. Many people think Moses did something wrong because he traveled around with them for 40 years, right, wandering around, and then when it's finally time to get in, Moses up and dies and doesn't lead them in, right? It wasn't Moses' job to lead them in. Moses metaphysically means the drawing out, right, because he was drawn out of the river as a baby, and he drew these slaves out of Egypt, right? He did his job. And when it was time for them to do something new, he stepped back and Joshua stepped forward and did his job. So, metaphysically, Joshua means Jah is Savior, Jehovah is Deliverer. And as I read on in the definition in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, it says, this really, I recognize the truth in it in a way that I almost did a holy dance in Starbucks. The only difference between Joshua and Jesus is the extent of conscious realization of identity with the I am. Under certain states of mind, the I am in man acquires greatly increased power. This power has its foundation in spiritual understanding. So if you just wake up late, jump in the shower, and you're rushing around to try and get done what you need to get done, and don't take a moment to, thanks, God. Will you come do this thing with me, God? Hey, I got to go work on this thing. I'm running late. Will you help? Will you clear the way, right? If you don't stop and touch base with the God that is right there with you, you don't have to stop and make phone calls or pull up maps to find God. It's like you can on the run say, come on, God, I left 15 minutes late. Let's go, right? And it says that Joshua is the only difference between Joshua and Jesus is the extent of consciousness. So when you stop and you breathe and you connect and you accept that there is nothing that you're going to do in life that God's not willing to work with you on. Nothing. God thinks, and God doesn't think any different of any person, right? God is equally with the jailer and the jailed. God is with the murdered and the murderer. That's a tough one for people, right? Because that murderer, we can all agree, has made a bad choice, has done a bad thing sharing this world with us. Still equal with God. So if God's equal to the murderer, right? And Jesus lets us know that, hanging on the cross, right at death, forgive them for what they do. So whatever you're working on, and you're like, oh, well, I don't want to bother God with this. God's hooked into you all the time. All you got to do is say, okay, work with me on this. There's that spirit within you because God's not some separate individual. God's not some old white man sitting on a cloud. God is one with you. I am one with God. I am one with all people. I am one with all life. I am one with the one, the only one. So in those moments, take that time. Make that connection. If you are in a moment where you feel confused, stop. Say, what am I feeling? What is it? What feeling am I wanting to get to? Right? And the negative stuff, or what Abraham Hicks calls the things that you feel resistance to, right? They're not bad. They're just like no, I don't want that. They become a traffic directional sign. Nope, not that way. Let me figure out what other direction to go because that's not the choice I want to make. Let me not keep going on a road that I now know is heading me in the wrong direction of where I wish to feel. So how do I feel about this? What am I doing? What is it how do I want to feel? What do I want to do? Work on that. Even if in the moment you're like, I don't know how to get there, just start by accepting that it is available to you all day, every day. So take that moment, breathe, connect to God. It's a millisecond away from you. It's already going, right? The answers to whatever questions you have are already available before you ask them. So accept that you're like, I'm in this moment. I don't know how to figure out this thing, but I know it's available. Can't wait to see how God works that out. I'm here and available to work as a partner in this thing that I'm doing in this life. I'm doing all of it with God. Yes, amen, God. So go out, feel it, do it, be it. God bless you.
Thank you, Wally. And I could hear Bev saying, you got to get centered and manifest from there. The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. is the King of Israel, and by the light of that same star, 3 wise men came from country far to seek for a king was their intent, and to follow the star wherever it went. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Noel, Noel, born is the King of Israel. Thank you.
Susan, that was beautiful. We loved it. Now let's prepare for our offering by singing the song, I See Abundance Everywhere.
I see abundance everywhere. God's rich supply beyond compare. His hours use and to enjoy His gift to us without alloy. Prosperity, prosperity. I know my own has come to me. God sends His children joy and peace, good health and wisdom and increase. And we are grateful, voices raise to Thee, O God, in hymns of praise.
Thank you. And there are 2 things I'm grateful for. These beautiful poinsettias that we have all bought and donated for the church. This is just a beautiful expression of Christmas and our love for our community. Do be sure to read that extra bulletin that just lists all the people who donated flowers today, because they are spectacular and we love them. And tonight, after the candlelight service, you may take your poinsettias home. So we're very excited about that too and enjoy them. The second thing I'm grateful for is during the meditation, and Wally takes us into the silence, and then over on this side of the room, we hear the cooing of a baby. And that is a wonderful thing to hear. So do be sure to stop by and see our own little child over there. Jessica's and Mikhail's little Caroline. She's here, and what a wonderful sound to rest in during meditation. So now let's take our gifts in our hands and give thanks that all good things come from God, affirming our offertory blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, and all that I give and receive. Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, and all that I give and receive. So it is. Amen.
Good morning.
Joy bells ring.
Track 2, please. Joy bells ringing, angels singing, all because a child was born. Time for sharing, people caring, all because a child was born. There in a manger long ago, it was the perfect night when you came into this world. A star shined oh so bright. Hearts were waiting, anticipating, all because a child was born. A gift was given for the living, all because a child was born. You brought love and laughter, peace to all mankind, and we celebrate Christmas more, all because a child was born. There in a manger long ago, it was the perfect night. See, when you came into this world, a star shined oh so bright. Hearts are waiting, anticipating, all because a child is born. A gift was given for the living, all because a child was born. You brought love and laughter, peace to all mankind, and we celebrate Christmas more, all because a child is born. May the spirit of the Christ child be born in you this season. Merry Christmas. Amen.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Amen.
Thank you. We have the best music. Shamil, come forward and let's bless these offerings. Let's go within. And we say, thank you, Lord, for this day and our many blessings. Thank you for these times. No, God within prospers us, and so we prosper others, bringing more love, light, and laughter to the planet. And so it is. Amen. Now let's stand and welcome our kids back by singing We Are Walking in the Light.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the love, in the love, in the love. We are walking in the love, in the love of God.
Yes, little guy. So how was it today? Did y'all have fun? What were you talking about? Joy. Perfect. I love it. Are you filled with joy? Ah! At least they're smiling. Good. Shall we bless these people? We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you together. We love you.
We bless you.
We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. Y'all, too, thank you so much for coming out and joining your church family this morning. We so appreciate you. What a wonderful day. Don't take the chairs down. Leave them up. Enjoy snacks. Come back tonight at 7 o'clock for our candlelight service. It's going to be just wonderful. Next week, Reverend Paula is with us, and don't forget the Burning Bowl service at the end of the month on the 29th. But the most important thing you can do this day, all days, go out into this beautiful world, this Christmassy world this week, and let your light shine, knowing that the light of God surrounds us.
The light of God surrounds us.
The love of God enfolds us.
The love of God enfolds us.
The power of God protects us.
The power of God protects us.
The presence of God watches over us.
The presence of God watches over us.
Wherever we are, God is.
Wherever we are, God is.
And all is well.
And all is well.
Now let's join hands and sing our prayer for the planet.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyful love. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
It's a good day for a good day. Thanks, God. Namaste.
Namaste. All right. Merry Christmas, everybody.